This is the continuation of our previous video. Let's move on to 7th question. Make sure you subscribe to our channel since I will bring up new content frequently. Customer is deploying an SSL-enabled web application to AWS and would like to implement a separation of roles between the EC2 service administrators that are entitled to log into instances as well as making API calls and the security officers who will maintain and have exclusive access to the application's X.509 certificate that contains the private key. Option A. Upload the certificate on an S3 bucket owned by the security officers and accessible only by EC2 role of the web servers. Option B. Configure the web servers to retrieve the certificate upon boot. From in Cloud HSM is managed by the security officers. Option C. Configure system permissions on the web servers to restrict access to the certificate only to the authority security officers. Option D. Configure IAM policies authorizing access to the certificate store only to the security officers and terminate SSL on an ELB. This question is testing whether you understand how to separate responsibilities between infrastructure administrators and security officers when dealing with sensitive SSL or TLS private keys in AWS. The core idea is this: who should control the certificate? And how do you prevent EC2 admins from accessing private keys while still serving HTTPS traffic? In AWS, SSL or TLS certificates contain a public key and a private key, and the private key must always be tightly protected because it is used to decrypt traffic. If EC2 administrators have access to the instance, they can potentially access anything stored on that instance, including certificates. AWS provides services like IAM to enforce strict access control policies and Elastic Load Balancer to terminate SSL connections. SSL termination means the HTTPS connection is handled at the load balancer instead of the EC2 instance. This ensures the private key never resides on the EC2 instances. When SSL is terminated at ELB, certificates are stored securely and access can be restricted using IAM policies so that only authorized security personnel can manage them. The correct answer is option D because it follows AWS best practices for security isolation and least privilege. Let's understand why other options are wrong. Option A is wrong because storing certificates in S3 still exposes them to EC2 instances via IAM roles. Even if restricted, EC2 admins with sufficient permissions could potentially access or misuse them. S3 is not designed for secure private key handling in this scenario. Option B is wrong because although Cloud HSM provides strong security, the EC2 instances still need to interact with it to retrieve or use the certificate. This does not fully eliminate access paths for EC2 administrators and adds unnecessary complexity compared to ELB-based SSL termination. Option C is wrong because OS-level permissions are not sufficient in cloud security. An EC2 administrator typically has root or administrative access, meaning they can override system permissions and still access the certificate. This violates the separation of duties requirement. I hope this is clear. Stay tuned for the next video.